Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Morning Grind Fondo presented by Dirt and Draft Teams. We're about to get going. Minute 35 to go to the start of this race. 42 in the A race. I only got one computer today, boys and girls. So that means, well, I've got actually a couple computers in front of me, but I've only got one computer with Zwift on it for the broadcast. We'll be in the A race, 43 racers lined up. I am stepping in for Mr. Jesper Anchor today, and you know, it's going to be interesting here. I haven't been watching too many of the broadcasts as they start at 4:45 a.m. Thank you very much, everybody. Really appreciate this start time. We've got our coffee ready to go. We've got our national championships shirt on for MTB, and we've got Kim Little currently leading the series with 232 points. Greg Leo with 224, and Lionel Vujasin at 179, sitting in third place. A lot hunting them down, though. We're seeing Matt Brandt on the rise there for Team Draft. Leandro Messinil there with 2 races in, it looks like, as well. Flat course, going to be tactical, I think, with 8 laps on Richmond. Very, very interesting race course, actually, to be having out here today. I believe we're going to have a lot of tactics on the day, for sure. We're seeing a lot of chatter up front, and actually I saw a false start. Somebody was saying there's a false start or something happening here. Somebody's like taking off from the line a little bit early somehow. Don't know exactly what was going on there. About 5 seconds to go here. If you want to interact with us via social media, you can do so. I've got all the integrations up and ready to go. Let's get going though right from the get-go. Golard here from VFox now, right off the get-go. 7.5 watts per kilogram. Going to get things started for us. Most likely not going to make a whole lot happen being out on that flat course, but is it going to get the speeds pretty flying high at this point right off the start. We do have Dirt now with Ritker up toward the front. Bailey's there as well. Greg Leo the Lion now making his way to the front, and luckily for all of us, we don't need a second computer. It is a mixed race. Matt Brandt there from Team Draft going to recognize that name right from the get-go, and there they go underneath the UCI Richmond banner. This is old school racing, boys and girls. I'm absolutely loving this course out here today. Brings back lots and lots of memories, actually, being out on this course. Now, I'm noticing we're not getting any sound coming through from the game. We'll correct that in just a moment here, but let's go ahead and take a look over at some of our social media comments already now coming through. Lots of people. We're in Miles. I don't know why it didn't save their Sieg. I absolutely love all the emojis as well. Sieg, I have no idea what is going on with why it came through in Miles as I did. I swear I saved it, not in Miles. So it's interesting that is happening there for some reason. No idea what's up with that, but I appreciate that. Matt Gardner says I'm a saint for broadcasting. I don't know. We've all got our demons, that's for sure. We'll see if I can keep things going here without yelling at you guys too much for getting up this early. But I really appreciate you guys putting together this race out here. Matt Gardner coming from Team Draft, and here we go from Glenn Gillard. Gillard, I see that you were kicking it right from the get-go. We'll keep an eye on you out there throughout the entire race here. G. Lisa here in the race, hammering away, it looks like. Is that one of our... Interesting to see if we have any female competitors out on course here. We'll keep an eye out for that. But, you know, Kim Little, has he shown up on the day? That's going to be my question here, because he is currently leading the series. I was chatting with him a little bit about recent podcasts, actually, right before the race started here. And he is holding down that first place. 2 wins and 1 silver showing up for each race. It looks like Greg Leo from Team Draft, 2 silvers and a W. And it's just been those two trading off back and forth between each other for the W's. Now, here we go with Matt Brandt, though. Into this little uphill gradient. This is a 1 to 2% gradient. They're going to be hitting every lap as they do hit this flat section of the course. This is actually the proper course for the lap that they are going to be doing, starting the first lap on it right here. And Matt, well, I believe they're actually going to start the first lap as they go underneath the sprint banner. So Matt Bryant here, team draft 6.2 watts per kilogram was what he's throwing down here. Dale Bout's right on his wheel. Coles is right along with him. The Watt Monkey from KRTR going with him. They do have about a 1 second gap here. This French-Canadian name, I'll give it a try. Licorice. I'm going to call this guy Licorice, but Lacourciere. If he's okay with Licorice, we're just going to stick with that because he has definitely got sweet watts here, throwing down 153 beats per minute, actually. 428 watts. And Dale Bout moving backwards now, looking for a wheel as he did push the pace a little bit up toward the front end of the peloton. So head on by the nice statue here. It looks like we do have a good amount of B and A racers here. C racer was able to jump in, it looks like, as well, coming out of China with just a dot for a name. The dot here going strong, 165. And a little ways back now, a little bit of split starting to form here. A few B riders there. Another Chinese rider here hanging on. It looks like from the A category, just barely. Lionel Vijayasinghe out of position, though. Your current third place overall in the series needs to catch back up here. The Belgian cyclocross rider definitely not in a good position to hold on to this front packs, having to throw down 7 watts per kilogram, 54th place currently, and this is where the elastic is starting to snap. You can see the little bit of urgency in the rider. 160 beats per minute, had a crazy race yesterday. Top 10 up over the top of the Alp de Zwift with the GCN race yesterday. Solid result for Mr. Lionel Vijayasinghe, but definitely having to catch back up. We do see Kim Little, the UK national champion, has jumped in to the race. We also have the Australian national champion here from Vision with Jeffrey Creel. So good to see him jumping into the race here. I think it's a late night for Creel here. Maybe not too late, but definitely getting late over there in Australia. So good to see him jumping on for a late night spin. Is Creel actually involved in the overalls? I'm double checking here. Looks like this is going to be his first time out on course amongst some of the big hitters, I believe. Going to go through some of the results here and just make sure I'm not incorrect, but I believe this is going to be Creel's first race out on courses. I'm not seeing anybody else I'm not seeing him in any of the past results in the A categories here. So, South African, excuse me, you're right. Kim Little, thank you. I see the Australian flag, and you got me there. South African, I do see the flag, though, on the back. My mistake. That is obviously, Nathan, obviously a South African flag. Now, I looked over at the Australian, on the right-hand side, the Australian national champion is most definitely not Jeffrey Creel, just coming from, that is where he's currently cycling. So my mistake. Thanks a lot for the catch there, Kim Little, while you are racing your bike at 136 beats per minute. No big deal for the UK national champ, typing and racing at the same time. Up to the front end of the race, though, let's see who's taking the headwind. It is going to be a no heart rate monitor D Mohar, who's going to have to be given a little bit of reminder there. You got to throw down with the heart rate monitor in order to get a result, just so everybody knows. Reminder for everybody. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that from the Domar there. He is helping everybody know out there in broadcast land that you must wear a heart rate monitor in order to qualify for a position in a race. But Gollard here from V Fox now, 288 beats per minute, making his way to the front, coming out of the US of A. How do you guys have these USA flags? It's 4:50 a.m. getting going with your race series. This is definitely Dad's Inside Riding Trainers before work. That's what this is all about out here, as well as the Draft Esports team. Now, what is this kit? There's this kit. Oh, this is the Ride for Reason kit. Everybody's got the Ride for Reason kit on. Nathan obviously is not riding a lot of reasons lately, as he doesn't know what's going on in Zwift at all. But good to see everybody's throwing down with that kit, and that's one of the coolest kits and hat combos I've actually ever seen in Zwift. That is for sure. But MQ Hugh now coming out of the US of A, hammering away Velocio NE, it looks like. coming out of New England, I'm assuming. And good to see Martin Jodvik. He understands the early mornings, it looks like here. Martin is jumping in here. Me and him were chatting about an hour ago as I just got up about the SCR race series a little bit later as things calm down here a little bit out on course. We'll take a look at some of the results for the A's, the B's, the C's, and the D's for the past races until we do get some attacks. Excuse me, but we are actually not going to chat about the SCR that is coming up later at noon because we've got an attack up off the front with Lionel Vajassin. 10 watts per kilogram out of Belgium here. Currently starting to break things apart now. And Gardner covers it immediately. Team Draft is all over this. Jay Freder is there as well. Now, they might just let this go. 4 seconds off the front. We're looking at MAS Sportswear here for Pettinger, just kind of shutting the door for the rest of the riders here with 5 seconds. This could go. 36 miles per hour up on the front here. The chase here from Coles is coming on with 36 as well. He's going to hit 37 there. Starting to open up a gap, but it's on the downhill. Most likely not going to get, well, too much of a gap here. G. Lisa able to hold the wheel. That means everybody else behind him is going to as well. Freder there at 6.3. Mott Monkey 5.8. There is a gap now, and they're going to hit the climb here. A little bit of 1, 2, 3% gradient now. And if they take that speed and the wattage into it, they most likely will continue to open things up, but they've got to throw down some orange numbers here. If they do not, the rest of the pack will quickly bring them back in. You can see that elastic starting to come back together, stretched out, and then comes right on back together as the riders let go of that wattage. But Vijayassin here not letting go, still continuing on into those orange numbers. Who's going to go with them is going to be the question. Definitely trying to snap things here, and it doesn't look like anybody's, too many riders are super interested to go along with trusting, perhaps. We do have Cuba and Freder here, but the rest of the riders just kind of hold on to the wheels of those two to be dragged back up and maybe waiting for some sort of a counterattack. Now, Freder here, though, is going to be the counter, it looks like, up in the 6.8, 520 watts. Up and out of that saddle, as you can see, on that Tron bike in the draft kit here with the sick polka dot shoes on. Dalebout says, nope, right on that wheel. So not going anywhere just of yet on this first lap of 8 out on the Richmond course. As you can see, they are fast and furious laps with the kind of speed that these riders do. We are only little under 10 minutes into this race and already 1 lap in about here. It's going to be a barn burner, that's for sure. And hopefully the racers keep this going here because it has been really attack of attack so far. Is there any kind of split taking place behind here? It does look like D. Elliott just trying to hold on for the dirt team. Gollard now going as well. V. Fox team again up toward the front. It looks like Creel here, South African champion, trying to get back on to the wheel here on that orange Tron bike. Green Tron bike for Vision Cycling. It looks like Hair U. What is this name? Hair U Team Ferrone. I liking the team there. Is that a rabbit? Rabbit U team, maybe? I'm not sure. But the Dart, this is an unfamiliar situation. Second overall to the top of the Alpe d'Huez yesterday. Interesting to see he's falling off the back just a little bit. I don't think he's in too much trouble. A lot of firepower with the Dart, the Poison Frog, able to leap across, grabs onto that wheel. We do have one off the front here, it looks like, unless that's actually my avatar that's off the front here. No, it's actually Chris Beck, mountain biker here, coming out of the East Coast, North America here. And Hughes here trying to chase down Beck now, as you can see. It looks like he's going to do so coming out of Ireland now. We'll give him a ride on. Beck up into 8.5 watts per kilogram. The counters have been left and right. I mean, just one after another. And that's how this is actually going to take place here. Eventually, there will be no more watts left in the pack to chase these down. Freder trying to get involved with this. Vujassin really with the first instigation. Now just jumping onto the wheel there of Freder. Going to need to hold on there, get dragged on up, but that means the rest of the pack is going to be there for that dragging as well. And it looks like I had an analogy in my head there that we're not going to do about bodies being dragged and carcasses here getting back up to the front end of the course, but we'll leave that one alone. You guys can fill in the blanks there. But back here, 8.2 watts per kilogram, 144, pretty chill with the heart rate there as he continues to attack on the front of this race. And looking through, James Joseph Barnes. So I believe, James, so the way that this works with the national championship kits, it's a great comment. And Jeffrey Creel is registered with his racing license in South Africa, but lives in Australia. So that's why he was. So wherever you are actually registered with your national federation, that's where you race for. So it's very official as far as that goes when it comes becoming more, I should say, more and more official when it comes to the national championship jerseys. You actually have to be registered with the national federation that you're going to be racing for, so that they can double check that you have a racing license in real life in order to go after that national championship out on Zwift. So kind of some real life verification there. So that's why Creel, he is in Australia, but most definitely racing under the South African kit there, as you can see. Wendy May Abbott, good to see you there as well. Thanks a lot for jumping in. Super fans up in the house. Mikhail Wozniak saying 4:50 a.m. Good time to have a nice fasted state spin at heart attack beats per minute. Definitely get the calories burning that way. Some of us are a bit further west too. We're hearing from Jonathan Furt. Man, that's... Are you getting up at like 2:30 a.m., Jonathan, for these races? I mean, that's a crazy start time to get up for racing in the morning there, Jonathan. And kudos to you if that's what's going on there, Mr. Ferrer. Good to see you out there as we are watching the Avatar out here. 168 beats per minute over on maybe mountain, it looks like, perhaps, with the mountain bike background there. But good to see you. Soon to come, USA Cycling Indoor Cycling Owned License, Cat 5, Andrew Williams. You know, Andrew Williams, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised as well at all. We'll try and keep our eyes over on Twitch chat as well. We are going to open up Twitch. If you guys haven't done so before, there's some cool features both on Facebook as well as Twitch that have recently been released. At least on Facebook, I do believe we have clips now that have been enabled. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure to check out the clips. If they are enabled at the bottom of the screen, you can clip things as we go through. Those are also available over on Twitch as well, on our twitch.tv/Zwift Community Live. You can hit a clip. Anytime that you do see a section of the race that was pretty cool looking, something was going on that you thought was, an amazing attack or whatever it might be, you can go ahead and clip the last up to 90 seconds of the race, which is a pretty cool feature, and you can share that up. And those kind of clips and things like that also help, obviously, the broadcast to grow, the Zwift racing to grow. You throw it out into the social medias. People can check out those cool moments of your favorite racer attacking out on course. We do have an attack here, looks like, from Brandt, who's been pretty aggressive so far. 4.3, though, with just 1 second, about 20 meters. Gardner, actually his teammate there, shuts the door at the front end of the race down to 0 watts per kilogram, but it didn't look like it worked out there to try and get the riders to get away. We do have an ODZ rider here. Our Lions now going on the counter. ODZ, haven't seen him out on course a whole lot lately for the racing. Good to see one of the ODZ riders on the attack on the front here. Gardner following up, 7 watts per kilogram. Always a difficult place to try and get away on this flatter course into lap 2 now. And a lot of USA flags here on the front end. Greg Leo now second overall in the series, 5.6, now 9 watts per kilogram. And maybe starting to get involved and think this might stick as the riders perhaps are starting to tire out a little bit behind now. Dale Bout there from WBR, a little bit of a gap between himself and Pettinger. Pettinger, 6.1 watts per kilogram, 180 beats per minute. This might be the nuclear mode for him now at this point. Figueira Hiernito out of Brazil, right along with B. Typin, gets set racing there without a setup. Definitely didn't get set up. He didn't get set, though, at the heart rate monitor. Oh, no, yes, he does have a heart rate monitor. It's actually Nito that does not have the heart rate monitor. But type in here. He's all set here. 157 beats per minute right now. Lisa here now, 6.5 watts per kilogram on the front. 165, as you can see. Solid effort, but just a kind of a tempo. At the A category level, this is just tempo at the front. If you want to be in the front of the A category in a Zwift race nowadays, it's 5 watts per kilogram, boys and girls. So it does look like it's starting to get a little bit separated behind Mofat there toward the back, as we did see the name come on through. Turksma's in there as well, coming out of the Netherlands. Making his way to the front, though, it is going to be Mohar. That is reminding everybody that he didn't get set with that heart rate monitor. 95 RPMs at 419 watts on the front end of this race. Let's see what's going down with the social media here. And Aaron Dunn is in the house Kiss Australia, last year champion. Good to see Dunn hanging out and jumping into the broadcast. Always nice to see you around here. Alarm was 3 a.m., rolled around until 3:25, got on my bike 10 minutes before the start. Jonathan is saying, know how that goes. Been there many a times. And James Joseph Barr said, happy to settle it anytime on the road, track or Zwift. Are we having some smack talk going down up in here? I mean, come on. This is where it's at here in the broadcast. People are setting up the competitions. Absolutely loving it. And we're going to have a head-to-head Zwift off here right on the broadcast, it looks like, at some point between Mr. James Joseph and whoever the heck is going off with each other. Between Creel. Okay, it looks like it's Creel, Johnny Bester, and James Joseph Barnes out on Zwift. We're calling it here. But not in real life. I don't know if we can get everybody out on the track. Well, okay, Zwift works. Now I have a direct drive hammer. Good to show. And glad to hear that you got that new trainer there. We're gonna have a little bit of a race competition between these three. You know, maybe sometime in the future there'll be a feature that could make that happen. That'd be pretty cool. Wink, wink. So, what HR show in percentage here? Tor Arn Martin Newson. Good to see Martin Newson jumping in here with a request. You know, Martin Newson, that would be pretty cool if you were able to put in your functional threshold heart rate, right? So right around what your threshold heart rate was, and then we're able to percentage that. Or have the percentage of that on the screen. That would be actually really cool because then I wouldn't have to guesstimate from zwiftpower.com all the time based off of max heart rate. So good shout out there. Maybe one day that'll jump. Maybe one day that'll be part of the broadcaster tools or the Zwift setup. I have a feeling a lot of riders would want to hide that, though, that are a part of the broadcast because they would not want riders to know what their heart rate, percentage or threshold is, because it'd be pretty easy for other riders then to take advantage of whether or not they were over threshold and keep on attacking. So I have a feeling a lot of times, I think that in the future, it'll just be like, check mark, I have a heart rate monitor on. And after the race, it'll say things about like what their heart rate would be if they want it to be shared even. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe because then it's like, it would only be shared. Maybe in the future it'll be a point where it'll only be shared with the race officials. I could see that, right? Because like it's not like you go and take your anti-doping afterward and then share it with the whole world. They just share it with the officials, and then the officials do the testing, and then you don't get all the peanut gallery jumping into it and saying everybody's a cheater. So that might be, I could see that in the future with Zwift racing during races and stuff perhaps, but maybe not. We'll have to see how that ends up going. What would be really cool is TDF coverage looking more like Zwift streams. Henry, I'm with you there, and we've actually chatted about some things like that. It's a great comment actually there, Henry. And there was some chatter when we were doing the DDC stuff with Dig Deep Coaching, and there was some chatter around maybe doing some sort of real life broadcasts. But the problem is not the problem. Well, yes, it is a problem with real life cycling broadcasts. It takes a massive amount of productions to make it happen, right? So like if you have a hockey presentation, you got a couple of cameras around arena, they point at the event, and that's what you got, right? You buy some real expensive cameras, you get some mics with some dudes, you route some wires, there you go, right? You want to throw down a broadcast for the Tour de France, you got to have like 5 helicopters, 50 motorcycles, all with cameras on the back. I mean, I'm over exaggerating, but the reality of Zwift is what's awesome about esports in general, what's awesome about gaming sports in general, is that the venue is immediately available to whatever the broadcast tools are that have been made by the developer. So, you have a game like Overwatch that completely was made around the idea of an esport, and your broadcaster tools are awesome from the get-go. Your camera angles and everything that you can present about the game just looks amazing. So that's one of the benefits of the venue that we are looking at here. Now, if we do get some racing situations that that are outdoors, that do try and set up to be a little bit more toward the presentation that we have here. You could have something like that. But thanks for the comment there. I appreciate it. It's coming soon, Nathan. What's going, Martin? You're hilarious, dude. I don't think the UCI will allow you to have licenses with phony addresses or multiple nationalities, Andrew Williams is saying. And lots and lots of, they have some on-bike cameras now in pro cycling broadcast. Yes, they do. This is true. We're all over the place here. What is going on? But Mohar here, he's right on the front. He's not really moving from there. 4.2 watts per kilogram on the front here. 11.4 in. I do believe we are starting into our fourth lap. We're going into the fourth lap here, I believe, about halfway through the race, and things have definitely calmed down. We had a lot of attacks early on, and I think some of the bigger hitters have said, okay, it's not going to go anywhere just yet. We were able to drop off a few of the riders so far, but have not really been able to get rid of any of the big hitters. That is what they're most likely looking to do. The poison dart toward the back here. Beck is there as well. Doesn't look like anybody who's in it for the win, though, has gotten dropped off. The line is still here with Greg Leo, Team Draft. Gardner's in there as well. They've got a lot of riders that have shown up here. 1, 2, 3 on the back here. We've got the Dart. We've got Gardner. We've got Leo. Most likely chatting. It looks like perhaps a little bit of communication going on here with Draft, trying to set something up. We'll have to see how that ends up playing out. Where, though, is Matt Brandt perhaps making his way to the front? I am seeing a Draft jersey toward the front here. Perhaps he's going to make his way to the front, make an attack, and these three riders are going to sit on and just kind of allow things to develop here. And there is Brandt here up toward the front. There's actually another rider from Draft who is toward the front there. It's going to be that's Team Dirt there. It's Freder, actually, Jonathan Freder, who's making his way to the front. So Freder and Brandt here maybe on the attack and developing something. We'll have to see if it's going to happen. But 5 riders from Team Draft looking to make something happen. Now, I haven't called out too many of the dirt riders here. We're going to have to keep an eye on them. Ritger here is going to be one of them. 166 beats per minute in the B category, and definitely going to take the, well, maybe not definitely. We do have a couple of others there. It is going to be Nishimori, and then one other. It is going to be another dirt rider. It is Heinzelman here. So Luke as well is in there. It looks like Jay Luke is in there as well for the Team Dirt. Legvox here, good to see him from Vision Cycling. Looks like he's going to be working alongside Mr. Creel, try and get the W there for Vision Cycling. All right, things have calmed down for sure out on course here, so let's have a little chat about the current standings in this series. This is race number 4 of the series. What I really like about this series is how many different courses they are using. They're really on top of making this an interesting series, not the same thing over and over. It's definitely kind of like a tour of or a Fondo, obviously the grind Fondo, but you know, they're doing almost like a tour of all the different cool race courses out on Zwift, being on Richmond this week. So I really love how they're developing this series. Always something different. It's been really well put together here. Matt Brandt on the front here now, 7.6 watts per kilogram from Draft, one of the organizers. But it is, like I said earlier, Kim Little, Greg Leo, Lyman Vajashton. That's your top 3 in the series, but it is Matt Curbo from Velasio, actually, out there for 4th right now. I believe I saw him early on in the race. We'll have to wait and see if he's still in the front runners. I'm going to go ahead and open up the live results, actually, for this race and see if I can get an idea of who has all shown up, actually, as I only have the series standings in front of me at the moment. But as we get the live results up here, we'll see if that rider from the A category, 4th overall, is in there. He is. Matt is here out on the day. Still in the lead group at about 4.2 watts per kilogram. Gavin Hughes is in 5th currently. We'll see if Hughes has made it on the day coming out of Ireland. I think Hughes has skipped the race today. Now, is it your best? No, Gavin is out there, excuse me, Team Type 1. Currently in the race, currently in the lead group as well. So excuse me on that, coming out of Ireland. So good to see Gavin has shown up. That's your current 5th place overall. Matt Brandt obviously out there in 6th place overall. Leandro Messinio there 7th. Greg Lisa there 8th. Shabi Blawai coming out of China, currently 9th place overall. Robert Lyons for Team ODZ. We saw him as well. So definitely everybody's showing up consistently here. 2 races there. Most of these riders do have 2 or 3 races. Now it is a best 9 out of 12, if I'm not incorrect. Yeah, your best 9 results count out of 12. Now, the point structure, 80 points to first place, 72 to second, and 64 to third. I mean, that was some big jumps here. So winning races definitely matters. I really like the way that they've set the point structure up in this race series. Pretty fair, in my opinion, is how the points are divided up. Taking the wins can definitely is worth your effort. Sometimes you get some series that the win doesn't always pay off as much as you would like it to. So now we do have, it looks like, Harry, your team here for row 1, Farrell 1. On the front here, this name is interesting. I'm just going to call him the Rabbit here. Dalebout now on the front, 4.6, as you can see, out of the Netherlands, 179 beats per minute. And Dalebout showing up consistently, it looks like, and looking for result. Well, excuse me, no, this might be his first race. Showing up consistently at the front. I thought I saw him in the results from the past, but I'm incorrect there. So it looks like jumping in for maybe his first race, maybe second race. Not seeing him in the top 10, though, overall. In the B category for this series, though, so we do have an attack up to the front with Nate Linnaeus here for the DBR team as he makes his way to the front. The Belgian rider with G. Lisa, Gardner, and Brandt following up real quickly. So it looks like this is going to be a maybe serious attack. Brandt continues with Gardner to try and break things apart a little bit, really instigating, but nothing seems to be able to go anywhere just yet. Onofre here out of the Netherlands now on the front, it looks like, and slowing right on down, though. Nobody too interested in the continuance as they know everyone's right on their wheels, perhaps worried to waste too much of their effort here. Dustin Elliott, Stuart Featherstone, and Tommy Belanger. That is your top 3 overall in the B category. Johnny Luke, it looks like they're from Team NL, and Paul Buckland. That's your 4th and 5th overall in that B category in this race series. For the dirt racers, they are dominating the B and the C categories, actually. Carl Koppenhaver, Mike W., and then it's going to be Luke Parent here as well. Jim McKenna and Dave Smith. That's your top 5 overall in the C category. Joe Davis is going to be leading out the D category with Len Baird, and then David Chase, John Swain, and Benjamin Mrozek. That's going to be your top 5 right now in that D category. Toward the front end of the race, though, it looks like still pretty chill, and we're going to be waiting for these attacks here, as it's definitely calmed right on down here out on the course. So let's go have some chatter about anything Zwift till we do start getting some instigation toward the front end of this race. This is definitely going to be, a flatter course and a flatter race. It takes the racers to make the race happen here, and Golard here is leading things out. It's going to stay pretty calm, I think, for a little bit here, as it is about that little over halfway point. They're waiting for the final attacks and the final laps for a couple of riders that think they can get away with enough time to make things happen. You've also got, then you also do have those who are going to be setting up the sprint. Looking through some of the comments here, lots and lots of comments here. 10 p.m. here, and it's 18 degrees Celsius. I'm hearing from Aaron Dunn. Andy Jenner coming through. New A+ cat is needed. That is an interesting comment. So Jenner, I've heard that a lot. It's interesting because, well, there's definitely riders that I would agree that there's a huge difference between riders who can throw down 5+ and riders who are 4.0, right? So I'd have to agree with that there is a need for A+ category in most cycling disciplines. You do have, somewhere between 4 and 5 categories depending on how deep the fields are. So I'd have to agree with that, Andy Jenner, that it would be cool to have some sort of an A+ category. That came from a little bit early, comment from a little bit earlier. Looking through a couple more, the comments there about Jeff is in South Africa. Half the people here that live in Perth are. I'm hearing from Aaron Dunn. Let's see here also. They have some on bike. Okay, we're talking about the broadcasting as well. Pete Donahue, good to see you. Hey, man, long time no see. Good to see you, man. I've seen you've been live streaming a ton, Pete. Good to see you jumping into the broadcast as well. If you do have questions or comments, you have any topics you want to chatter about, please let us know, and we'll talk about those a little bit here on the broadcast when it comes to all things Zwift and Zwift racing out here. Love some love for draft. Yesterday's GCN race forcing me the day off the bike. Money is on Greg for this. Gravdal's letting us know. We'll have to see. You know, they've been trading back and forth, Joan, between Gravdal and Kim Little. Kim Little currently getting the better of him, but that's only by one race. They could be tied, actually, for the overall in the series if Kim Little is able to take second and Greg takes the win. We'll have to see how that goes. But that's a good prediction, I think, on the day there, Joan. We'll go ahead and get a poll up into the Facebook post here momentarily to see what people are thinking, who's going to take the W. We'll let things go a little bit longer before we do that, though, just so that we can kind of maybe get things weeded out a little bit more before we actually start trying to make any kind of predictions out there. So now I need to do some math here. Math is hard. It's so 44K, 44 kilometers, because I didn't swap over from miles to kilometers. It looks like we're going to have a 27-mile race. We have about 3 laps to go, I believe. Unless I'm incorrect, 27-mile race, excuse me. So we've got, little over 10 miles to go in the race out here yet today. I'm getting another question. Alan Lowe, what time is it at your place? 5:18 a.m. We started the broadcast at 4:45 a.m. And Alan Lowe is saying that these are fun when you're sitting in the back of the race. And yes, they are overtaking the lap fielder, Andrew Williams. Love the comments there. Let's go team draft from David Torello. And Lee Wood's got a great question here, or at least a comment or question. New to Zwift. Want to ride Alp to Zwift after last night's race. That was great to watch. How do I level up quickest? Ride on. So leveling up, the quickest way to level up, Lee, is going to be hitting up flat courses or courses that have lots of banners to get extra experience bonuses. But flat courses are definitely going to be the way to go because they have you get experience for every mile that you tick off. So it's based on distance that you do. So Lee, make sure that you hit up the flat courses, hit up larger group rides, and you will get a lot more experience that way. Also, if you want to do the Up to Zwift and you see an event that is doing the Up to Zwift, jump into the event and you will be able to head right on over there, as events are not barred. The event actually allows you into the Alp to Zwift, even though you don't have the level to enter that area, Lee. So that's a great question. Loving all the questions coming on through. Keep them coming, and we will keep an eye on them. We did an attack there from Matt Brandt, again from Team Draft, into the uphill section on the left-hand turn there. Didn't go much of anywhere with about 10 miles to go. Jay Freder here now from Draft, closing the door right on down at the front end of this race. Also, yes, do a structured training plan, Andy Ball is saying to Lee. That's actually a great comment coming through from Lee, because the structured training plans do give you extra experience, actually, when you do that. Switch to metric and level up the quickest. This is true as well. This is a longer question here, but let's go ahead and take it as things are a little calmer here. Question: is it easier to race on a trainer using a power meter or a smart trainer? Watching last night, you can see people just sat in on a set 90 RPM for the entire climb at a very constant power, whereas the smart trainers, the gradient changes affect the ability to lay down constant power at constant RPM, thus tougher on the rhythm. Tom Clements. So, that is a big question, Tom. Big question. And Tom, I would, I lean toward, what do you mean by easier? Do you mean where do I get more watts? Or, where can I find a more consistent rhythm? Things like that. I would have a better time on a smart trainer, I believe, for a lot of different reasons. I trained exclusively with a power meter on Zwift for most of my Zwifting, actually, for a very, very long time. And I did get into a hammer and I do use a hammer right now. And I believe that, I need to be careful here, but you would most likely have a better time on a smart trainer. I do lean toward that. Now, some people would have more consistent rhythm with a power meter. I could see that, and I'd have to deal with much gradient. But I'm not sure that that's actually an advantage. Depending on fitness, though, because depending on fitness and what you are able to handle for your the force that's coming into your legs and whether or not you get an advantage from having to use the force against you and use the force. So just use the force and you'll have a better time. Okay, that's all you got to do. Use the force, concentrate, let go. and use the force, Luke. You're good to go. All right, that's your answer there, Clements. So a couple more coming on through here. It's obviously less fatiguing and works different muscle groups when you control resistance training. Resistance changes there, Eugene. I don't think that's too obvious, actually, in my opinion. Different resistances for different muscle groups. Zero resistance most likely would be a little bit easier on the legs. I would agree with that, though. I don't know. I think it's different for everybody as well. If I'm training a lot of resistance training, so if I am adding weightlifting to my training program, there might be some advantages there. I'm not sure I agree 100% on that for other reasons when it comes to smart trainers. I gotta be careful here. When it comes to the world of all of the esports, I'm of the opinion. All right, I'm not gonna be too careful. I'm of the opinion when it comes to esports, you should be on smart trainers, and all of them should be measured with a power meter, though. It should be smart trainers so you feel the resistance, and every single one of them should be measured with the same power meter that's calibrated. They should not be using the smart trainer for the actual power measurement. There, I said it. So just as far as the Nathan Guerra opinion goes on Zwift racing, being around this for about 4 years now at this point, and early beta tester, my take is that power meter is the most way. I'm just going to say most way to go here. Kai here now in the front, though. 5.4 watts per kilogram out of China. 4.8 now, as you can see here. Very diplomatic, Nathan, regarding smart trainer versus power meter. I kind of gave in a little bit there, though, Martin Tucker. Good to see you in the broadcast, as always, buddy. Haven't seen you out there on Zwift racing in a while. Well, excited to see you jump back into some of the races that we do cover here on the broadcast. Ryan Lyons here now. Timo DZ, one of our top 10 riders in this series so far, looking steady at 163 beats per minute. Looks like riders now starting to set up for your final couple of laps. We're heading into the last 2 laps here momentarily. Frederick here from Team Draft now. A little bit of attack in the front from Mohar now, along with our W here. Now we are seeing toward the front end of the race. We're looking here. Aaron Dunn saying spot on. I use a Neo with a Quark D0. Good to see you there, Aaron Dunn. Appreciate that. The only way to gain anything from a trainer difficulty in a race is when I'm lazy and need resistance change to help me to react. Surge wraps up more quickly. We're hearing from Yuji Chan. Man, we've really started off the conversation here. You start getting into accuracy and you start getting into accuracy and what's real, what's not real, man. All of the opinions start coming on right on out. Everybody's got a way that they've Zwift rate. And that's the thing is everybody's got their own tactic though too that they use in a way that they feel the strongest out on Zwift. At the end of the day, when it comes to the racing here in the virtual world, when we are in the online spaces, there's a reason why all real esports tournaments take place at LANs, at LAN events, at actual real life. For those who don't know what a LAN event is, a real life event at actual arenas, because in every section of the esports world, no matter where it is, the same questions. Everybody's like, oh, it's impossible, blah blah blah. Dude, it's all been said about all the games. Okay, this isn't just a Zwift thing. It's every game thing. The real deal competitions have to have in a real deal place. For some reason, the cyclists think we think that we've got that market cornered when it comes to having issues with people wanting to mess with their computers and mess with their setups all on their lonesome at home. But no, that is actually so rampant in some of the competitions and online competitions within some of the games that there was crazy amount of work and effort that went into a couple of the games where you would literally jump into a game of 100 people and like 20 of them would be full-on aimbot hacking, like in some of these games. So like, don't, like, it's not like this is something new. Just actually, Zwift, when it comes to all this, is pretty awesome. This is like pretty amazing when it comes to the entire topic of how accurate everything is. Zwift Power and everybody who organizes all this have done a pretty good job of like slicing things up. And as far as walking into this, I'm more confident a lot of times in the Zwift world than I am walking into a PUBG game, that's for sure. So we are now here with the Watt Monkey up toward the front as we do head into our final 2 laps here. The Watt Monkey from KRT coming out of Germany here, 153 beats per minute currently here. Golard from V Fox right now, 3.6 watts per kilometer, 175 beats per minute. All kinds of chatter going on here. Alan Lowe says, great job answering Nathan Garrett. No worries, Alan. Appreciate the questions, everybody there. Controversial post. Oh boy, here we go. Revo Wheels is coming on through with some controversy up in here. Post PMs are not as accurate as some smart trainers like Neil and don't work well indoors. GP Llama views. Yeah, Revo, that is true about some. That is definitely true about some power meters. And, you know, it depends. You know, I guess I'm a little biased as I've only used, you know, you have your, in the same way that you have your like top 3 to 5 smart trainers at the highest end, you also have kind of your 3 to 5 top end power meters as well on the market. You know, not going to name names or anything, but you guys all kind of know who those are going to be in their accuracy and how accurate that they might be. So there's definitely some PMs out there that are not as accurate as the Neos. What I do see as a tendency, though, that is much more common in the accuracy in the way that you can talk about one thing is cyclist egos when it comes to their own setup and how awesome their own setup is. That's for sure. And my setup is always the best, just so everybody knows. And my Watt's almost always right. So Demo Hart here up toward the front of the race, though, right along with how consistent that we can be with all of our excuses because you ate something different today. All right, Uchi Yanama here now, coming out of Japan, 174 beats per minute now, as you can see, leading things out as we head into 2 laps to go, 22 miles in, 43 minutes into this race. Everybody's been keeping it super calm here. Now, I did see somebody apologize to Kim Little earlier. And has there been a dropout or something? Maybe a little less consistency. We are seeing somebody saying, be careful, draft is amassing at the rear of the peloton here. And that is a great spot to attack from, as you can ramp up that speed as you head into the downhill. They have been doing that almost every lap, actually. It seems to be that is kind of a tactic here for the racers. As they head through this downhill and into that left-hand turn, you can really ramp up some speed through the pack as you do use all of the riders that are up ahead of you if they are trying to make any attacks or really trying to ramp up the speed toward the front and use all of that momentum and attack into that left-hand turn and that uphill. I might have just called them out on their tactic there. We'll have to see if that ends up happening here. But Kim Little, I'm not actually seeing him in the... where is Kim Little? He's your current series leader. And I have a feeling that he had an issue out here today. Kim saying, which live events, Kim? Matt said, sorry for cheeky move, trying to stick draft me. Oh, gotcha. He's trying to stick the draft to you off the back. Okay, sticky draft you off the back there. Got it, Kim. Got it, Kim. So, Kim, still in the race. I do see him. There he is, just popping in here, letting me know that he's there. He actually just jumped right into my view. So, good to see Kim still in there. Current series there, 129 beats per minute. And, you know, being isolated. Actually, Team Draft is out here with like 6 riders or so. Kim Little, Team Experimental, nobody to support him on the day here. So it's going to be a draft versus experimental for sure, but solo rider with the isolated Kim Little here. Now, the question is, you know, they've got Greg Leo in the race here, and Greg versus Little here. In the sprint, I'm going to have to give it to Kim perhaps, but we'll have to see if I'm right about that here. Maybe I haven't seen the Lion here throw down recently. And the other thing about that is that, you know, the lead out train for Greg and the kind of matches that he can burn for a few of his riders is definitely going to be a huge tactic a huge, variable here for Kim and whether or not he can follow things out there on the day, as it is going to be up to Team Draft to try and make the attacks happen. Maybe just steal some points as well on the front end of the race if they do get anybody away, and then Kim is not going to have as many to work with and have to battle it out with Greg for lesser points. And it's still at the same time though, Greg still got to beat him in order to take things down. For the points there. Looking through here, you should warn the lead group that the group of B's and C's are ahead. Don't want anybody to get lost in the mix. Well, that's kind of just like mountain biking. You just kind of get like obstacles in the course, dude. That's they're just extra obstacles. That's kind of a part of the racing, is the extra obstacles actually. Lo, we do see you out there for Team Finesse. Good to see you jumping out on the race course here. Frederick here from Team Draft chasing you down. Better get a move on. So we're seeing a lot more chatter coming on through here actually about the power meter discussion. Absolutely loving all of the discussion here on that topic here. And let's see here, a couple more through. Almost had him actually. Matt Gardner is saying that there was a sticky draft tactic here, and he almost had him off the back there. Interesting to see this actually a tactic they are using on the day. Now we are getting an attack here from Hughes now with 2 to go, or with one lap and a half to go actually. Hughes from Team Type 1 as he heads into the BC category riders that are being lapped. This is actually a smart move because Greg doesn't have to use, Hughes doesn't have to use quite as much effort in order to try and, Gavin Hughes, doesn't have to use quite as much effort to try and get away actually as he sneaks right on through, but it didn't work out there. It looks like there's Lisa shuts it right on down. Frederick here following it right on up. Now it's going to be the question not so much of who is attacking through, but who misses the wheels and doesn't realize that they have to throw down 6-7 watts per kilogram to hang on. Little here now just kind of calm actually, 4.2 watts per kilogram, maybe trusting too much that this is going to come back together. Following a few of these riders now, up and out of the saddle, 6 watts per kilogram. Current series leader off the back just a little bit, but the Poison Dart is here. Vujasin is here. He's got plenty of firepower all around him, and it's all about the trust. It's like crit racing here out on Zwift on this Richmond flat course, because it does string out like that, but very quickly the back and forth, the accordion just really comes, it's this amazing stretching and then coming back together, stretching back, come back together. Messineo here dropping out though, 5 watts per kilogram. He's completely lost his power here. Messineo, I think, is out of the race with a power dropout actually. He's going to have to really ramp it up to get back on terms here. 8 watts per kilogram here, but at a 0, going almost to 0 miles per hour there momentarily here. Batman here, 21.5 in, 1 lap down, is going to have to really find that mobile to get back on terms with the front end of the race actually. But Gardner here, Bertelsen coming out of Norway, the Watt Monkey here with a little bit of a gap, but looks like Team Draft dropping off the Frog. The Frog is no longer going to be able to be in this race. I believe he's going to have to waste an entire lap of effort, I think, just to get back on terms. G. Lisa here, 6 watts per kilogram. As you can see, the attacks are coming on here, and 5 watts per kilogram as they head into the final lap. It's going to have to be a full-on TT effort for anybody who tries to get away at 6 to 7 watts per kilogram, though most likely just be a lead-out train to make that happen. And what's amazing to me is how much like real life pro peloton racing almost that this is becoming out on Zwift, because that's the kind of efforts, if you want to be on the front end of a lead out train with about 2 miles to go, that's how it works in the pro peloton as well, man. 6 to 6.5 on the front, hammering, just killing yourself to hold on to that position. And as things really start to develop on Zwift with the teams and the drafting and the keeping the paces high and the positioning out here, I really do think that things are going to start looking more and more like that here. We are seeing Gardner here now making his way to the front, maybe looking to be a lead out train here. 6.4 on the front now, maybe going to try and break away, but we're going to have to see 10 watts per kilogram or so in order to make that happen. Gavin going again, maybe knowing he's not a sprinter here. There it is. There's that 10 watts per kilogram on a 0% gradient, so it's going to be in his favor here right now to try and make a break. Gardner now following it right on up, closing it down. G-Lease is there, 7.3 as you can see now, but Gavin here, 1 second gap 8 meters, 8 meters, 8 meters, 5, not quite within 5, 5 meters. G. Lisa does grab that wheel. Beck is right on there as well. And then it is going to be Gardner. Linnaeus there from the DBR team. Cole's now into the final lap now. This is going to be all kinds of attacks left and right, I think, as riders do not want this to be a sprint finish here. Beck now trying to get off the front here. And again, a counter attack, 150 beats per minute, ramping right on up to 110. G. Lisa there following it up there, closes it right on down. Lisa's doing these interesting moves here, just shutting them down. Who is he working for? Is he working for G. Lisa? Working for Draft? Working for who knows what? Because he shuts them down, maybe looking for a sprint, but also going to be the one who closes the door. Not sure. Freder here controlling the race, so at the front with Gardner. Coles 5.4 on the fifth place currently. Hughes with that initial attack now trying to get that heart rate back down, but not find himself too far back in the pack here. Creel looking well positioned, South African national champion here. Currently riding out of Australia, though, and definitely has a solid sprint. Creel actually might be a favorite on the day here. And let's go ahead and make a quick little poll as we head into the final. As we do head into the final few miles, or final, half a lap here, excuse me. So let's go ahead and see if we can get a poll going on here. And I'm going to say for the win, who for the win is going to be the question. And I'm actually going to do teams because there's so many out there. And it's going to be Draft. It's going to be, I'm going to just say K Little because he's the only one riding for he's the only one riding for the Team Experimental out there. But Draft has so many out there. I'm just going to say Draft. Kim Little. We got also Creel is out there. I'm going to put him out there as a favorite as well. Within the top finishers, though, Greg Leo's in there as well, obviously, as second overall. Vujasin is out there as well. So those are going to be the others, I believe, that we're going to have to throw into the mix here. As we do have Lionel Vujasin, I'm going to throw in there as an option as well. So Draft, if you are voting for Leo, go ahead and vote in for Draft. But the poll is up. Let's go ahead and see what everybody thinks as far as who is going to take the W. Who's going to take the W on the day for this Zwift racing? I'm going to go ahead and throw my vote in there. But it is live. It is live. You can see it at the bottom of your smart device. If you do have a smart device that you are voting on, I'm gonna throw my vote in there. We can do that. Draft at 33% there. Kim Little there 29%. Vujasin at 25%. Creel at 11% now. Looks like a huge favorite for Vujasin out there. As Lionel, though, as he's still even in the front end, he is in the front of the register here, looking to try and find a solid spot for this sprint as they do head into the final few K here. Here comes the Lion. Now Vujasin to the front. Hughes now on the attack again. And this is it. We're heading into the final mile or so. As you can see, I wish I could say last K, but we are not in Ks at this moment here. Freder to the front. Here comes Harrier team. And now Hughes still leading things out. 170 beats per minute right now. Beck now setting up as well. Here comes the Lion, though. And he's going to be looking for a win. Going to be really important for him. 168 beats per minute here. Where's Kim Little? Kim Little here, 5.7 watts per gram, 160 beats per minute. Doesn't have a whole lot more to work with. Neither does Greg, I don't believe, actually, though. 186 from the Dart. The Dart has gotten back on terms. Going to be looking for the lead out. Things are really going to start ramping up now, though. This is always the moment that you have to be at the front and following every single wheel, but not sticking your nose in the wind. Where's the lead out train, though, for Team Draft? Are they going to really be able to set him up here? Draft trying to find their way to the front. Let's go Draft here in the chat even, though. And now the Dart leading things out. 8.5 watts per kilogram. G. Lisa now on the front, though, as you can see on that blue Tron bike. Right behind him is going to be Beck there as well. Beck now leading things out. 10 watts per kilogram. This is very early to go, and this is just going to be a lead out train actually for the rest of the riders. Kai now making his way to the front, as you can see. It's going to be Lacusier. No, Vujasin on the front. 13 watts per kilogram. Goes from the green sprint banner up and out of the saddle. 186 beats per minute. Vujasin looks to be walking away, but no, here comes the Lion's roar. Greg Leo is gonna take it down off the front. The Lion, followed up by the Dart, makes it happen. And all of you that voted for Draft, 36%. And Kim Little unable to make it happen here. Not even sure he was able to take down second place actually out there. We'll have to take a look at the replay and see how that ended up playing out between the riders, but what an amazing race there between them at the end, and absolutely killer effort all around. Let's take a quick little look here and see how that ended up playing out. And it was Vujasin who led things out at 13 watts per kilogram, but 13 watts per kilogram, not quite enough to really make things happen. It was more of a lead-out train. Turksma sitting on the wheels, you can see there, also kind of ramping things up there. But here comes the line, 14 and then 15 watts per kilogram as he comes right on through in the final 100 meters. Sitting right on his wheel is going to be Turksma, followed by the Poison Dart, and then it was Cubo. Cubo actually one of the top riders that has, I believe, in 4th place overall. So that's going to be a solid result for him if he was able to make his way forward at all. As we are seeing Vujasin able to just hold on, it looks like, the 3rd place. The Dart is mixed up in there as well. Cubo there for 4th, I believe. Creel and Coles. Kim Little, it looks like, was able to throw down for a 6th or 7th there as they came across the line. Amazing, amazing results there all around. Huge watts they're throwing down out on course. And let's go ahead and take a look at the official results as they do come on through. It is going to be the C category that I'm looking at here, actually. So it's going to be in the official results, actually. Well, not official. They are getting loaded as preliminary. But Greg Leo, 55.48 across the line with a .06. 6/100ths of a second difference between him and his teammate Leandro Messinillo. Lionel Vujasin does come across in 3rd place on the day, it looks like, actually. So we're going to go ahead and publish the results. It was a 37% to 37% neck and neck in the vote there, but Draft did take it down for the actual win. But thanks everybody for voting in the poll, and it looks like everybody voting for Draft there did get it right. So looking through, Matt Kirbo did take down 4th place. That will give him a couple of points toward coming. Excuse me, no, Matt Kirbo. Yeah, 4th place. He's also sitting in 4th place overall, actually. So he'll actually grab a couple of points and maybe go up a little bit in the overalls. Burdick Sturtsma there, 5th place overall. It was Aaron Coles there for the Dirt team. Way to represent Dirt out there. Dad's Indoor Riding Trainers. Jeffrey Creel for 7th. Kim Little in 8th place. Going to be falling in that overall series today. Definitely singled out there against the rest of the draft boys there, that's for sure. But then it is going to be Chinese characters that I cannot read at 4.4 watts per kilogram coming around through for 9th place. Robert Lyons from ODZ rounding out your top 10. Matt Brandt, solid result out there for looks like the Wolf there as he came through in 11th place. Shout out to Matt Brandt, old school local Saturday Morning World dock riding. All right, so questions. You got some questions? We'll answer your questions for just a couple minutes here. We'll go through a little bit of what everybody thought about what happened there as we head into the final couple minutes here of the broadcast. Wendy May Abbott says, thanks, Nathan. Good to see you there, Wendy. We'll go ahead and throw in our social media integration here. If you ever do want to interact with broadcast and you haven't done so, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Z Community Live. We can always bring through images. Actually, that's the easiest way to bring images in, actually, is through Twitter. So if you want to show us your Zwift setup, you want to show us what it looked like when you were racing. I mean, there's all good. You can show us, whatever. You can show us podium pictures. You can show us whatever you need. Images can come through. We'll just leave it at that on the social medias. Thanks, Nathan. Great broadcaster. No worries there. No worries there. Nice commentary. Thanks a lot, Leandro. Great job out there today. Nice job in the 2nd place. Worth getting up there early, Greg, for the donuts. Donut time there. Greg says, I need to get on the bike, dude. I need them donuts. Thanks, Nathan. Nice commentary. Good to see you there, Sieg. Appreciate you jumping in. Brutal finish, boys. Werner is saying there. And then we also have got Lionel there. Greg Leo with some mad emojis there as well. Thanks, everybody watching, for Matt Brandt there as well. Totally missed the line. Kim, I think you jumped just a little bit late. You probably had the power for it, but it's all about the timing Isn't it, Kim? It's all about the timing, all about the timing. Nice race, guys. Kim and Leandro are machines. They are. Almost hung out, 2 dropouts killed it, Glenn is saying. Chance of hanging on in the end. Awesome race. Sorry to hear about the dropouts, Glenn. Hope you get that taken care of in the near future. All right, everybody, that's going to be it for me, but we're going to be back in 6 hours for the SCR Autumn Series. I believe we're on race number 13, I want to say. Maybe 14. I believe it's 13. So make sure to jump into SCR later tonight in 6 hours. If you already raced today, you can get you can get some double headers. I'm going to jump on Zwift for a quick spin and go grab some second breakfast here like the hobbits would. And we will see all of you in just 6 hours for the SCR Autumn Series. Thanks a lot to all the viewers out there. If you haven't done so already, last reminder. Hit that like button, follow button on Zwift Community Live Spaces, wherever you might be watching. Twitch, YouTube, as well as Facebook is where we are live right now. If you want notifications, make sure to turn them on so you know that anytime that we do go live, you won't miss a single broadcast. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. That's it from me, Nathan Guerra, here at ZCL Zwift Community Live. See you in just about 6 hours. Autumn Series with SZR.